What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks NBA. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. No basketball has started yet on Monday, but I do know we ended up getting some really good closing line value on that over 206. Closed around 209, 209 and a half, just about everywhere. So I'm glad we were early to the party. Glad that I didn't give you some crappy piece of advice. Again, it's one of those things where my tools update. Odd Chopper updates the day before. You always want to be paying attention to these things, but it was one of those where I just projected out so low. It was the only play that I had from that game really that made any sense. Ended up adding New York Knicks for a small play plus 4.5 because Ben Raza here at Odd Chopper. It's always great because then I can make fun of my buddy. If he loses me money, it would not be great. I want to win money. So hopefully the Knicks play well for us here tonight. No Emmanuel quickly, but the Lakers, that's where most of my plays are. The Lakers themselves, Dennis Schroeder, so on and so forth. But we got two games coming up again here on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to this two-gamer for sure. I hope you are too. And I'm also looking forward to having Bet365 back along for the ride. Yes, my friends, we talked draft books. We talked DraftKings. We talked FanDuel. I should probably know them. They're the two biggest sports books in North America, but they have a massive presence internationally. They've come over to the States. Bet365, it's currently just available in 4 states. So listen closely. If you're in Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, or Virginia, yes, we've had them along for the ride. Bet365 has been on this program before, but they're back. They got this great bet $1, get $200 in bet credits offer going right now in that video description box below. So I repeat, Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, Virginia, those 4 states. If you're in those ones and you have Bet365, congratulations. This is a great book. And every time I look at home run props, I am very, very sad because Josh Lowe, who ended up hitting a bomb for us in MLB, Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks, was plus 950 at Bet365. Best available number I could get access to was plus 800 at PointsBet. That is a massive gap. That's $150 that I missed out on just by not having access to the right book. So if you are one of the lucky people who live in one of those 4 states, that's the kind of perks you can get checking out Bet365. I'll talk about them here in a little bit, but I know what you're here for. You're here for the picks on this two-gamer, per usual. Leans, likes, locks. Leans, things I'm thinking about betting. Likes, things that I'm going to have a small play on here. And then locks, my favorite play from each individual game. So without further ado, let's get to the picks. We get our day started with a massive Game 5 here. 76ers, Boston Celtics, and gotta say, that was kind of the game of the week, and I know it was a little bit of a fourth quarter collapse by the 76ers, but how about James Harden's performance? 42, 9, and 8. He's awfully good at basketball right now. I know Joel Embiid's not 100%, that's for sure. It was just a weird, lackluster ending to that game. I'm not really sure what to make of it in terms of, well, Boston shouldn't have even been in that thing, and all of a sudden Jason Tatum just goes scorched earth on the world at the end of that one. You had Brown really start off the game strong, but an overall very entertaining basketball game. Makes this series 2-2. I think that brings a lot of narratives into play for it, but the books don't give a shit. 7.5-point favorites are the Boston Celtics here at open. We're looking at a total right in that 213.5, 214 type window. I don't really have a play on the total here specifically. Do have a play on the game, that's for sure, but we're going to start with a lean on a guy that I was I will just say that I thought he was playing fantastic at the beginning of this playoffs, going up against the Brooklyn Nets. I think they have a lot of really good wing defenders, and I thought it was pretty impressive seeing what he was able to do even without Joel Embiid out on the floor, especially in that closeout game without Joel Embiid on the floor. Come down to earth a little bit here. 45 minutes and just 9 points there for Tobias Harris. I get it. James Harden got it rolling. Joel Embiid playing with the ball in his hands and not really creating for anybody. He's not moving great laterally. I mean, he's still Joel Embiid. He's still going to find ways to be very effective out on the floor. Per usual, he's questionable entering this game, but he's going to be playing. You got to assume a must-win Game 5 here. 34, 13, and 4 for Joel Embiid. But I'm thinking about getting back on the Tobias Harris train because what happens is these numbers start dropping precipitously when guys don't get there for the first couple of games. The books maybe say, hey, well, you didn't get there last game. Come check out the over on 13.5 for Tobias Harris. The water's warm here. I'm not sure if it is or not, but It's minus 103. It's inside of minus 110, and it's a point better than it was last game, sitting at 13.5. These kind of things have me at least considering Tobias Harris. One of the things he's got to do eventually is start knocking down shots here for this Sixers team. You have Maxey, you have, of course, Harden and Embiid. That fourth option has to be Tobias Harris here if they're going to sneak a game out on the road in either game 5 or perhaps game 7. I do think the Sixers are much more competitive against the Celtics team than most people did. I mean, it was plus 200 for the Celtics to win the NBA championship. Coming into this series, the Sixers were at plus 700 and moved north of that when Joel Embiid was ruled out for game 1. Upon returning, it got a little bit more normalized, but still, I like the Sixers here. And, well, I guess I'm kind of leading into another thing, but we'll start with Tobias Harris over 13.5 points. As I said before, it was a pretty interesting basketball game that we saw, and I'm not debating that the Celtics are the favorite here. I think the Celtics should be the favorite here. They're 32-9 at home throughout this entire season. They've got the correct makeup for how you defend this ball, or how you defend Joel Embiid and such. You have Al Horford in the middle playing massive minutes, getting tons of blocks, played phenomenal. Can we talk about how well Al Horford played in that game? 5 blocks, 2 steals, just defensively. Having 38 minutes of Al Horford and then 14 minutes of Robert Williams coming off the bench, well, that's useful. Now, Robert Williams props are not on the board here. I don't know if we're going to be seeing any kind of a split there if Al Horford stays out of foul trouble, mainly because he was just so damn good in defensive responsibility there on Joel Embiid, and part of that, again, Embiid not playing 100%, but they played together for a year in Philly. Didn't go well there in Philly. A lot of experiments in Philly. Jimmy Butler would look right there right about now. Or with my Minnesota Timberwolves. But that's a story for another day with a cold, hard drink in your hand. But we're looking at a light play on Philadelphia plus 7.5. There are some 7.5s currently roaming around the desert here. You see it on DraftKings Sportsbook, Caesars, PointsBet. There are some 7s a lot of other places, but I think 7.5 is probably going to be the prevailing number here. And that's good enough for me. So yo-ho, a 76ers life for me. That had no place in this segment, but there you go. Just saying, it projects out nice for me. 5.5. Don't want to be going crazy. Half unit play. That's kind of what most of these have been, except for the game 3 Saturday against the Lakers. I jammed the Lakers against Golden State. That worked out nicely. We'll see if that Golden State half unit play here for game 4 works out nicely too. But we head to the lock section. And this is my favorite play on the entire board. Period. End of story. If you watch, they did bring Derek White back in during the overtime frame. Kind of a strange adjustment that they started to make there, but the closing lineup had Malcolm Brogdon there in regulation. We saw 36 minutes, and one of the things that led me to a 5-0 day on Sunday in the premium Discord was I was kind of guessing correctly exactly how they were going to treat the two. Now, we beat the hook, had the under of 12.5 points for Derek White. He's now at 11.5 points. I'm not sure. It seems like it will be a hot hand approach to a certain extent, but Malcolm Brogdon is the better basketball player. He's the better creator. He's the better rebounder. Not saying Derek White's terrible, because Derek White is currently in a lot of the top lineups. I mean, some of them are Brogdon and Brogdon, Smart, and then White all on the floor together, which is going to be tough to do against Philadelphia, but they're going to still have a couple of minutes together. But I think Malcolm Brogdon, he's going to be getting the lion's share of these minutes going forward in competitive games. We saw some wonky game scripts where game 2 got really out of hand and they just completely murdered them, only played 24 minutes. And then kind of went the other way towards the end of that game 3 where Philadelphia ends up holding serve there. They end up winning the game 3 there. It got a little bit wonky at the end. They kept that closing lineup out there, ran away with it in game 3. And in game 4, Malcolm Brogdon, 36 minutes. That's the most that he's played in a postseason game this season. I get it. There were a couple of overtime minutes in the mix there too, but I think 30 minutes of Malcolm Brogdon is just an absolute windmill slam, complete smash. Over 21.5 PRA, currently minus 115 on FanDuel Sportsbook. That's also available in the video description box below. But I'm telling you, my friends, 6th man of the year, it's pretty good at the old basketball. Just a great overall guard. I feel pretty confident that Boston, one of the things that they're going to constantly need is just the better defensive player. I mean, Derek White's not terrible in that regard either. I know Marcus Smart, shoot the ball on time, son. But Malcolm Brogdon, over 21.5 PRA. I jammed this the other night, and I'm going to be jamming it again. It didn't move enough for me, especially just outside of standard juice. I don't know why I hit my microphone. Over 21.5 PRA. Favorite play on the board for Tuesday night. My least favorite picture for Tuesday night is the one on the right side of your screen, but whatever. Bet365, they're back. Yay! That's my happy face. Bet $1, get $200 in bonus bets. Do you want to make me happy? Just like this in this picture? Well, get yourself access to all the sports books you possibly can, and this is only available in 4 states, so you can tune me out if you're not in Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, Virginia. But if you're in Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, Virginia, congratulations. This is an amazing offer. All you do is you deposit $10 or more. You bet one of those suckers on anything you want, and as soon as you do, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. It's the best offer out of any sportsbook, period. They want you to try out their product. They need you to try out their product, and here's what's up. We're going to bash them with home run props on MLB, Lindy's, leans, likes, and locks, because that's just what we've been doing here lately. They've had the best. If you go through Odd Shopper, if you're looking at the best bets on the board there constantly, it's almost always Bet365. Their numbers are just insane. They are trying to induce you to try out their book. They're going to go to other states soon, so just wait. But in the meantime, if you're in Colorado, New Jersey, Virginia, or Ohio, please sign up at the video description box below simply for yourself. It's only if you're 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks we go. One more game. Let's get to it. If Philly and Boston didn't go to overtime, I don't think there'd be any question that the best game we've had in probably a week was Phoenix and Denver. Game 4, the Jokic, not going to be suspended. Thank God. I mean, come on. Shout out to the owner, though. He basically said, I don't want to have Jokic get suspended. I think that was kind of the end of it. Joe Dumars making these decisions is kind of ironic, pretty funny. Those Detroit Pistons teams just beat up people. So if Jokic was going to get suspended for doing that, just wants the ball, get it out. Okogie's laying on the floor. He just wants to inbound the basketball. All right, enough about that. Who gives a shit? We're talking about betting, my friends. And from a betting perspective, another game that just went phenomenally well for me. Did not get a lot of people were looking for Jokic rebounds, and I apologize to people who didn't get that one. I didn't have the triple-double on the card, coming off of an absolute evisceration of a triple-double, like infinity 17 and 17. It was pretty difficult to go back to the well at some of the adjusted numbers. I stayed away from those. Fortunately, got the over on the points for Jamal Murray, over on the points for Nikola Jokic. Just a lot of really good plays from this one. But we're seeing a pretty interesting trend here. Again, 129, 124. We just had a game go way over 250. It's a lot of points. But did you see some of the shooting, some of the box score numbers? Let's go through a couple of the highlights, shall we? Let's go down old memory road from Game 4 on Sunday. We had Nikola Jokic, 20 for 30 from the field, 66.6666%. Ooh, that's the devil's number. It's the devil's tool. What about repentance? Let's talk 56.2% field goal percentage for the Denver Nuggets. Now, just 31.8% three-point percentage, but I think that's pretty explainable that they were chucking a little bit more towards the end of that game because they were playing catch-up. And the Phoenix Suns shot 57% from the floor, 45% from 3. And Devin Booker, yet again, 14 for 18 from the field. Kevin Durant, 11 for 19 with 12 of 13 from the line. My God. You're talking about the most insanely efficient shooting back-to-back Game 3, Game 4 from studs that you could possibly imagine. You just couldn't. But that has led to some interesting numbers across the entire stratosphere. And this is going to be a very Phoenix Suns heavy conversation as we go through the leans, likes, and locks. Now, I'm not sure if I want to be firing up this Nikola Jokic number yet. I'm going to see if we can get a little bit better for triple doubles going into tomorrow. There's a couple of books that don't have it out here yet. So if you want to know if that ends up on the card per usual, because I don't know, it's a play that pretty early too, and we've absolutely windmill slammed throughout the season. Hit me up on Twitter at Eric Lindquist. We're going to figure that one out for you. But just to cover what we're getting at with this, Kevin Durant. Do I think that there is an answer for Kevin Durant on planet Earth scoring a basketball? No, I do not. He is a 7-footer who shoots threes, and there are going to be games that he just goes nuts. He is making difficult lean away 15-footers. He is hitting open threes now because Devin Booker is getting these double teams from time to time. And Obviously, getting Landry Shamet, Terrence Ross to kind of join the conversation, especially Shamet in that fourth quarter. My dear God, a lot of incredible creation for some of these other players. So if those Suns are knocking down shots, it's going to be very difficult for Denver to go at Durant, at Murray, and Booker with some of those double teams the same way that they did. But I think there's a couple of defensive changes that Denver can currently make. One, it's just don't leave the corner three man. 2 is less than 3, and it seems as though math was not Malone's strong suit in high school. Based on that, it's like the wide open 3 you're getting from Shamet in the corner. I just believe very strongly that this is as efficient of 2 games as you're going to see from the Phoenix Suns. And now going on the road here in this spot, what happens? They're immediately the dogs here. It's not a coincidence. It's not like, well, they just won back-to-back games and now all of a sudden they're favored coming in. They're dogs here for a reason. They're 5.5-point dogs for a reason, because you can't shoot or play better than they played in those 2 games in Game 3 and Game 4. And Chris Paul, still not with this basketball team, even though he's 84 years old and seemingly hurt every postseason, but that's beside the point. Let's get to the lean section here, because I think these numbers are just too high. Kevin Durant, under 45.5 PRA. That's a lean, but it's going to be on the card. We're going to hit the like button. We're going to be taking the under of PRA for Devin Booker. There are game scripts where the Suns play great and win, where Devin Booker doesn't reach 46.5 PRA. He has been out of his damn mind. And I get a lot of you are probably going to hear this and you don't want to be taking unders. And it's like, how can you take an under on a guy who just went 20 for 25 and 14 for 18 from the field? Very easily. He just doesn't go completely scorched earth on the world and score 47 and 36 points. Denver defensively makes the adjustments they need to. And I get it. Devin Booker's out there creating, playing some of that point guard role without the point guard out there. 9 and 12 assists at both games at home. But on the road, it's a different story. Books know what they're doing. People aren't going to want to be clicking either of those. I can tell you that without a doubt. Which leads me to my favorite play from this game. It's taking the entire portfolio and taking the under. I want the under of 228 coming off of a game where this has now moved multiple points to adjust for, I don't know, insanely efficient shooting. Both teams were just insane. 56% and 56.8% from the field, respectively, were the Nuggets and Suns. That's unsustainable kind of stuff. And if you were watching some of the shots, there was actually good defense being played on both sides of it. And Jokic went berserk. Jamal Murray had some glimpses of going berserk. And Durant and Booker, the 2 guys I'm looking at shorting and probably going to get made fun of for. Just saying, this is a massive, massive number we're looking at for 2 teams that overall this season have been a lot better in the defensive rating department than they're being given credit for by this total. Phoenix, a 112.8 defensive rating, 7th best in all of basketball. That's pretty wild. And Denver, they were way worse, down at 18th, 114.2. Definitely got by on adjusted offensive rating. But there's no doubt that they play slower, too, to make up for it. We're talking both of them in the bottom 10 in the NBA, just slightly. 21st and 22nd in adjusted pace, in actual pace. Under 228. I don't expect either team to be shooting 55% or better this time around. Therefore, under 228, my favorite play from this one. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays on the board for Tuesday. It's going to be a fun one. I'm going to be updating that premium Discord as always, putting my betting card in there. If you want to sign up for that, that's in the link as well. Sign up using promo code Lindy. Get 50% off that first week. See what we got going over there. Just check out all the MLB home run props. Those have just been carrying their weight. Carrying the MLB weight, that's for sure. But NBA, coming off a 5-0 day on Sunday. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I just looked at the score. It's like 2015, just 2018. There you go. Coming in live. It's beautiful stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a close one. Going to be a fun one to watch here. Miami, Knicks, 2 teams we didn't expect to be there, but it's great stuff. Going to be fun to watch that one. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to the late night hammer. But check out Bet365. Check out everything we got going down there in that comment section below. Thank you to producer Alicia. Until Wednesday, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Tuesday.